So, in your bardic training, they teach you how to talk to people, don't they, Yaz?
Well, they teach you a lot about how to recite things in an interesting way. Songs, poems, stories, that sort of thing. But actually talking to people in a more social context? Not so much. A lot of us still struggle in that area.
Oh, I suppose thinking there was a place where one could be educated in such matters was too hopeful. I find that I often blurt things out when I perhaps shouldn't, such as that Lisbeth seems to always have an odor reminiscent of roadkill, which apparently is something I'm not supposed to actually point out.
I don't think that's a Lisbeth problem. Markarth just smells like that in general. But yeah, it would be nice to learn how not to stick my foot in my mouth so often.
You do the same then. When have you?
Well, this one time I was talking to Greta, from Solitude. Can't even remember what we were talking about exactly, but at one point I started ranting about a couple of the college bards. Some of them complained about my attitude during lessons, even though I was just voicing my opinions on certain songs. I just said I thought that the Skyrim musical canon was too limited. I don't know why anyone would get offended over that. Anyway, I said to Greta that I was sick of them biting my head off over little things, and she screamed obscenities at me and stormed off. It was the day before her brother Draugr was gonna be executed. So yeah, sometimes my mouth gets me in trouble before my brain can catch up to what it's saying.
I can't believe this. I was afraid to bring it up with you being a bard and whatnot, but I've always found the music selection in Skyrim atrocious. I understand that the Nords probably have their musical preferences and would like to stick with it, but they can't add a couple more to the mix? Oh, not that that's the point here. I must admit, it's a relief to know that you said the wrong thing to someone whose brother was slated for execution. I mean, it's not a relief you said that. It's not like it's a relief to me that you were mean to someone. Of course, not that you're mean. I just meant, well, you understand.
I think I do, yeah.
Is Yaz right? Does all of Markarth really smell of rotten meat? I thought it was just Lisbeth. Wait, does that mean I smell like rotten meat? You mentioned before that you found Skyrim's array of musical choices to be lacking, right?
Absolutely. Most bards in Skyrim only seem to bother with about 6 songs, and 2 of those are the same song with slightly altered lyrics. And 3 of the others are about the exact same subject. There's nowhere near enough variety.
Yes, exactly. I asked one of the bards once to play the Cold Harbor Compact, since it revolves around such a fascinating tale. And they agreed. Oh yes, I can play that for you. And then they just played Ragnar the Red. Again!
Yeah. I get that not everyone's comfortable with songs about Daedra, but at least have the guts to admit it. There's no shame in it. Sometimes I wonder if a lot of bards are just very sophisticated automatons, although you'd probably like them a lot more if they were.
Oh, what a lovely idea! Perhaps I could find a way to have Scrap play music. A portable little music bot. Although I'm certain I'd be able to teach him more songs than what these Skyrim bards play. What songs would you want him to sing to us?
Maybe he could try writing his own music. I'd be interested in finding out what automaton music would actually sound like. I imagine it would involve a lot of clanking, so probably not all that different from traditional orcish music, to be honest.
Yes, that's genius, brilliant, amazing! What glorious music could Scrap create? What would it tell us about his inner psyche? Maybe he'd dance. Oh, Scrap, I'd love to dance with you!
What if he turns out to be better at creating music than dancing to it? That's been the case with most of the bards I've met.
Well, he does have quite a few legs. I'd imagine anyone would be clumsy with so many. Likely it'd just be funny to watch. No offense, Scrap. Anyway, what songs would you like Skyrim bards to play as?
Well, maybe they could try and play whatever Scrap writes, or invent an instrument that would allow them to play it. Or maybe they could just write another version of Ragnar the Red with slightly altered lyrics. That seems more realistic.
while I can dream of the first idea, I do imagine you're right that they'll just go with the second. Nords are just predictable that way. How do you feel about Draugr, Yazakh?
I think they smell and are far too aggressive for their own good.
They really are like walking stink bombs intent on murdering us. I have to suppress the urge to just vomit when I see them. Yazakh, here is a pie. I just found out that it contains meat instead of fruits. Not that that's why I'm giving it to you, of course.
Hey, thanks. Any idea what meat it is? I'll probably eat it regardless, though.
Whatever it is, it's awful. Of course I didn't bite out of it or anything. I could just tell. Are you very familiar with Thieves, Yazakh?
Not really. I guess I should be more familiar given where we are.
I just thought you might be familiar with that last thief due to how close they were standing to you.
Well, that explains why I can't find my copy of Last Scabbard of a Crush.
Yes, I've gotten us a Mammoth Steak. It's a lot? Too much for me to eat at once. I mean, I always intended to share with you anyway.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I don't like mammoth steaks. They still look like noses, and it freaks me out.
Oh, okay. That's definitely okay. I'll just eat it by myself and explode. Totally fine. How are you with magic, Yaz?
On a scale of Courier to Tolfdir, I'd say I'm probably somewhere in the middle.
I rather think you just made that scale up. It hardly sounds official. Sure, this ale is... Is this even ale? Hey, Yaz, I've gotten you a drink. It was definitely meant for you the whole time.
Hey, thanks. Not sure what that is either, but at this point it doesn't really matter what I drink.
So, Solitude was where you were dropped off after leaving Cyrodiil, Yaz. How does it compare to the Imperial City?
Honestly feels more like a small town in comparison. It's a big fish in a small pond.
I must agree. Wayrest put Solitude to shame as well. Did you attend the college with Lurbuk, Yaz? He's the only other orc I know of who pursued a bard's life.
I'm afraid not. Lurbuk graduated before I joined. A shame, really. I feel like I'd have learned a lot from him.
He does give off an air of someone who knows a lot, I think. So this is your college, Yaz? I quite like that it has so many books lying around. Enough that a few probably won't be missed, right?
They just replace whichever books go missing, so if you did want to, borrow any of them, go right ahead. You know, hypothetically, of course.
Yes! I mean, hypothetically, yes. Now, let's see. Anything here written by Yaz? Surely there's some of her writing about.
Oh, hey, so, Remi, I found some of my writing, if you'd like to take a look. It's a bit old, though.
Yes! Yes, I knew there was a reason my mind was so excited to be at the college, but I couldn't remember what it was. Let me see. Oh, look, your handwriting is so legible. Amazing. Shall I read it right here and now?
Okay, but you should probably stop before the part with the dog. People haven't liked that part before.
Oh? What page is that on? I have to see what all the fuss is about.
Oh, and if you get confused by what the protagonist does with the talking axe at the end, it's a metaphor. Lots of people don't get that.
I'm perfectly aware of what a metaphor is, Yaz. Where are you, part with the dog? You can't hide from me. Oh, what's this? That's quite a word. I don't normally see it paired with that noun, I must say. Really, this whole passage is fascinating.
Sounds like you've reached the part in the cave with the flame atronac and the table covered with sweet rolls and flawless emeralds. How would you interpret that scene? Would love to hear your thoughts.
Truly, the metaphors are quite brilliant. The flame atronac contained by conjuration magic. That really spoke to me as the fire of life restrained and stuffed away inside a cave. And the items on the table. Clearly the joys of life just out of reach. It really shows the longing toward living of a person jailed away from life.
Yeah, I'd say that's a valid reading. Not quite what I intended, though I can't exactly remember what my intention was in the first place. But, thanks for reacting in a more positive way than most readers do. I appreciate it.
I think your writing just hasn't found its target audience. It's clearly meant for people who enjoy thinking deeply. Perhaps we just need to find people who appear to be more philosophically inclined.
You might have a point, actually. I'm not sure how I'd reach that particular audience, though.
Leave that to me. I have an eye for this sort of thing.
You're gonna try and, promote it? How? Leave pamphlets in inns and stuff like that?
Shh. Leave it to me.
Don't tell Remi, but I'm a bit worried the story I showed her might just be incoherent nonsense.
I can't get this off my mind. Your story with the miniature horse trying to drink the giant flagon of ale. What was the frostbite spider signifying?
The frostbite spider signifies, danger, and, multiple types of danger, as represented by its legs.
Oh, of course! How didn't I see it before? That's genius. I must admit, I have no idea what Yazakh's story was about. Don't tell her. I don't want her to think I'm not as smart as she is.
Did you know that...
What did you think of that story of mine? The part with the mammoth tusk didn't put you off, did it?
I wouldn't say it put me off, but that in conjunction with the shriveled dreg did confuse me. At first.
It's
I
kind of
figured it
dark in
out
here.
eventually, of course.
Honestly, I did wonder whether a horker tusk would get the metaphor across more effectively.
I've drafted an advert for Yazakh's writings. I even made a drawing of her in the process of writing. It's quite good. Yaz, great news. I handed out the flyer I made up regarding your writing and your beautiful way of conveying stories. I think in another moment, the fellow will come up to beg for a copy. I'm sure he'll pay an exorbitant amount.
He doesn't look very, philosophical. But hey, appearances can be deceiving, right?
Yes, you can't always judge someone based on their exterior. It's what's interior that counts. I could just tell he was someone of class. Look, he's reading through the flyer right now.
What did you write on the flyer exactly? I don't think you showed me.
Well, first and foremost, I captured your likeness in a rather dramatic lighting as you write your latest story. It's a very realistic drawing. Under that, I wrote something along the lines of, "So you think you're intelligent. You're lacking stimulating reading, stagnant in your thoughts. All of Skyrim's writing too dull for your genius. The incredible work of Yazakh will put you back into the beauty of philosophical thought and expand your mind." Or something like that.
I'm not sure I'd like my writing to attract the kind of person who would call themselves a genius. Although I'd like to see this realistic drawing. I'm hoping it isn't too realistic, because that would just scare people.
That's nonsense. Why would it scare people? I think it's inspiring. Oh, he's reading it over. Although he seems to have bad eyesight. Why is he squinting like that?
Do you have a spare copy on you? I'd like to take a look at it without bothering that guy. He looks kind of intimidating.
Aw, he wasn't that bad. Although I suppose he didn't say anything and just stared when I handed it to him. But I think he's just shy. But yes, I do have a spare. Here.
Not to be rude or anything, but your handwriting's a little, hard to interpret.
What do you mean? It's perfectly legible and... Oh, yes, I suppose I do see what you mean. Oh no, but then that means that fellow can't... Wait, what's he doing? He just threw it away? He could have come to ask what it said at least.
Yeah, he should have been able to recognize me from your drawing. It really is surprisingly realistic.
Exactly right. Wait a minute, you're being sarcastic, aren't you?
Me? Sarcastic? Why would I ever do that?
Yaz, do you have a quill prepared? Are you ready to transcribe my observations of this rune into prose? Of course, the rune itself is already visual poetry. It'll be quite a task to convey it through words, but I don't think there's anyone better for the job than you.
Alright. The ruins were cold, hard, and full of steam, as if it were a... I'll try and think of a more appropriate simile later.
Seeing as you're a former Legionnaire, I'm not just going to let you take the lead in this fight, Yazakh.
Shame it has to be this way.
Please don't die, okay, Yaz? Yaz, someone is attacking
Shame it has to be this way.
you. I know Yaz and I don't look it, but we
I
are
won't
a dangerous
enjoy
pair to
watching
pick a
you
fight
die.
with. Gosh, you're Yaz, I'm not doing too great. This is the end to your story. Do you get it, Yaz? Yes? Ow, ow, ow. Yazakh, I need help. Now would be preferable. You're hardly a villain worthy of Yazakh's writing.
There sure is a lot of killing around these parts, huh?
And you didn't even need to stab them with a quill. I really must think of something better to say after fights.
Shut
That fight wasn't anything to write home about. Right, Yaz? Right?
That's
And
that,
we
then.
win. We're not dying today, Yazakh. Unless we die in the next fight. Then we're dying today. Well, at least we lived, right, Yaz? Sweet Mara, Yaz, you're covered in blood. Please don't bleed out.